What's going on, friends and family? My name's Skylint. We're talking about MMOs today. It's something that I've kind of held on the back burner just a little bit because, you know what, honestly, the genre itself is on the back burner for most people, for most developers and publishers. It's this thing that it's a slow burner, you know, you take your time with it, you grow your community over time, and the game kind of just like digests and consumes and creates itself in a way. So, you know, it's something that you kind of lay out a foundation and then you slowly add to it. I get it. And also as players, you know, we come into an MMO, we play it for a little bit, and then we dip out, we come back in. You know, over time, as things get added to it, new raids, new seasonal events, new items, new classes, I don't know, expansions and what have you, seasons. You know, that's kind of how you play MMOs in the current day, unless you're completely addicted to just one of them, which is the case. You either MMO hop, or you're just addicted to one, or you simply don't play MMOs. You don't really have too much flexibility. I mean, like the niche of MMO player, it's kind of specific, you know what I'm saying? Like, so basically, like, it's very rare to find a player like me who more or less intertwines with a lot of games and then still plays all of them. I just have a lot of free time, and I also, you know, I get paid to play stuff. You know, I get paid to do videos like this, like $1 sometimes. Regardless, anyways, so I play a lot of MMOs, and I do go pretty deep with a lot of MMOs. That's not usually the case, but regardless, since, in my opinion, from what I have seen, you know, just my experience from talking to guild people and talking to people, it seems like most people either stick to the one game, or they completely hop around, or they just don't play MMO whatsoever. So, with that in mind, why is it that the early game is the most grindy? Have you guys noticed this? In most MMOs, the early game is just ridiculously grindy, and most people play MMO for the end game content, or they play for the casual seasonal content. So you play Guild Wars 2, you jump in for the Halloween event. You know, you go in for maybe the new expansion for these games, like Elder Scrolls or something, you know, new expansion, hey, let's jump back in. World of Warcraft, new raid opens up, new patch, you jump in, you know, you're playing the game at the end game consistently. You're playing the mid or early game for the casual. But then why is it that most MMO, like, basically, they don't really have an end game, and they just make the whole early game a grind? What? Why? What? Because then you have the other part of people who maybe would be interested in MMOs, but they're just not gonna fuck around with it because it's all just a massive grind. Why would you? I could just jump in League of Legends. I could just jump into a Battle Royale. Why would I could play so many different games, man. So Hollow Knight, let's jump on that. You know, there's so many different experiences that I could be having, and I don't have to put forth work and effort into an MMO. And then, you know, like most MMO, it's like, what even is the reward for that? I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. So I'm just spitting that out there. This is a pure and simple rant based on nothing, based on no statistics whatsoever, just my assumption. So let me ask you in the comments below, are you a player that consistently plays just one MMO? Are you somebody who MMO hops, or are you somebody who just doesn't play MMO? And if you're some sort of weird hybrid like I am, where I MMO hop, and then at the same time I do go pretty deep with certain MMO, if you're somebody who's like an actual hardcore MMO player, please let me know. Have you had the same experience where basically it's like, who the fuck are these MMO marketing to anyways? To me, it really feels like most MMO are just fluff content. Even the good ones. Actually, maybe even more so the good ones. Because they know they got some good stuff, you know? They got the carrot on a stick at the very end of the tunnel, right? Final Fantasy is a big one, World of Warcraft. They can be pretty big grinds. And now World of Warcraft is actually under fire because it's making its end game like a bigger RNG grind than ever. Not something that's very rewarding feeling, and you know, a lot of people are talking about that. But Final Fantasy XIV, the leveling process, if you don't like the story, which frankly most people don't, if you play Final Fantasy XIV, you accept it, and then I think it does get good later on. But like, honestly guys, it's not good. Most of it's not voice acted. The writing is cheesy as hell. That's honestly most Final Fantasies, but regardless, like, it's nothing like, holy shit, dude. How many weeks of effort do you need to put in to get into what makes Final Fantasy XIV great, which is the end game story, the episodic story there, as well as the, you know, the rating, right? That's what makes the game great. Wouldn't it just be better if the game kind of just started there, like it was some sort of dungeon diving online Final Fantasy, which that is what the Final Fantasy XIV is. But it pretends to be an MMO, and it kind of pretends to have all these extra features and all this fluff, and it's all just pointless and meaningless, and I fucking hate it, dude. I can't stand it. I don't understand why that's the case. There to an extent, why does World of Warcraft keep so many of these quests in the game when a lot of them are really boring? Like, it's pretty obvious which one took like time and effort, which ones are actually meaningful. Why the fuck would they gut the class quests out of the game? In fact, really, the way World of Warcraft should work at this moment in time it should just be class quests, basically, and the meaningful, like, early game quests, like the undead starting quests that, like, Lillian Voss, you know, the cinematic ones. Those are the good ones, but then you're still gonna make me go to a farm and kill some random boars? What the fuck, dude? You have all these good quests. Just string them together, put back in the class quests. Let's go, baby. Why do you have so much fluff? And World of Warcraft is one of the fastest leveling games out there too, so I don't even understand what the hell is going on, man. Then we have games like MapleStory 2, which is like basically the levels 1 through 50. The entire levels 1 through 50 is just one giant tutorial that just it boggles the mind. The story, I mean, it is storied, but it doesn't seem that good. The questing so far has been really repetitive, really boring. Honestly, I really wish we just got into the grind. Like, just get me into the real game, guys. And this maybe is coming from me, which is a guy who is like, you know, MMO veteran. I play, you know, old vanguard of MMO, played some older MMOs. I did start with RuneScape, old school RuneScape. You know, I played then, I enjoyed those games. The entire leveling is a part of the game. Yes, it will teach you things, it helps you grow, but like, it is the game. You know, you wouldn't look at Mario and be like, oh, level 1 was fucking pointless. No, level 1 is still a fun level, man. It's still fun. You could still do stuff. There's still, you can actually play it better. You know, you can gamify it. That's the big thing. A lot of these MMOs, you can't really, you can kind of speed level if you do some tricks and things here, especially if you break the monetization. But like, you don't really do it better. You don't really have enough skills. You don't really have enough risk. You don't even have enough challenge to really even be incentivized to do better. You might be able to grind faster if you've already played it before, but like, as you're playing the game, you rarely are taught how to actually be better at a game, at these classes. You generally have to go on YouTube videos and find out some weird animation canceling, Elder Scrolls Online, fucking looking at you. And you have to do all this other extra stuff, look at guides and things to really learn to play the real game. Like, all this tutorial stuff is bullshit. You don't really learn anything. And in fact, these MMO know it to the point where they're upfront. Yeah, you guys, you can buy boosted accounts. Just, you know what, buy it from us officially. You can do that. In fact, if you pre-order our new expansion, we'll just give you a max level character, you know, good gear to start out the end game. Just jump right the fuck in because, you know what? It's actually not that hard. It's really not that complicated. You're probably gonna, you know, we'll give you this little tutorial here. That's probably all you're gonna need to know just to get started. You don't need, you know, weeks of grinding before you can understand the basic concepts of the game, before you can understand, you know, the basic story, because in the end, it's all fucking convoluted and rewritten anyways. I'm just saying, MMORPGs, oh man, dude. The excuse generally is, oh, it's for the story. The excuse is generally, oh, it's a tutorial. MMOs are complicated. Frankly, no, they're not. They're just frankly not. Like, the very end game, yes, is going to be a challenge, but that's going to be for any game. You know, the very end game in the PvP of Dark Souls is a challenge. You're not just going to be able to walk into that, but the entire rest of the game teaches you and is still playable and gameable, and like, it's fucking fun, okay? It's like good from the beginning, basically. And you know, you have all these other games that generally not MMOs, but like Monster Hunter, stuff like that. They have grind, they have easier monsters, they have easier or simpler mechanics at the beginning, but like, it so quickly unravels itself, and it's so quickly compared to MMOs. You know, like within a week, you've beaten the game, you've played it, you might have even mastered the game to an extent, you know, beginning of mastery, and you're ready to do the PvP. You're ready to begin thinking about speedrunning. You're ready to begin about forming teams and guilds and doing those world record runs and first times and stuff like that for those kind of games. But MMOs that sell themselves on community and addiction and having you relog every day, basically that's what they care about. They care about you playing the game for a longer period of time, but not really doing more game, not actually doing more activities, not actually gamifying what they have, because that's more work for them, because they have to put out more raids, they have to put out more dungeons, so they time gate the shit out of you, they make the game as grindy as possible, and like, even if they give you boosters and things like that, the end game, they're just gonna RNG the fuck out of it so that you can't actually properly, like, strategically beat the game. You have to just brute force it with time, which you pay for, and it just makes it seem like you're getting more worthwhileness out of it, which was absolutely the case with a lot of older games back on the Sega and Nintendo era stuff. You know, a lot of games were just made super hard, so whenever you rented games or you bought games, it felt like you're getting more worthwhile out of it. There's all these little mental fuckeries that they do with these games for all time, not just MMO, that make it feel like you're getting some sort of pride and achievement, that you're getting more out of your game than what you really are. But then, you know, somebody's got to come out with a review and be like, actually guys, World of Warcraft is fucking you over right now. So, you know what, maybe cancel that subscription until they fix this shit. That's basically what I'm saying. maybe you really shouldn't be spending your time on these incredibly grindy, massively insane games, pretending that after the tutorial, man, when I get to the end game, it's gonna be great. And you know what? It kind of sucks. Sometimes it is great, but is it worth it? You don't know. It's impossible to know. It really fucking sucks, and that's the predatory thing. That's what really they sink their teeth into you with these hints of a good game, the little specks here and there, but it's mired with so many faults. All MMO have just so many faults with netcode issues because it's an MMO, you know, the graphical issues, a true lack of complexity, especially with the early game. Is it worth it? Is all of that worth it for the end game? For MMO players, for the ones that stick to one game, it is worth it. But frankly, guys, what I'm going to suggest is you just MMO hop. If an MMO makes it hard to level, or if it's boring to you, if it's a struggle for you, honestly, guys, it's not worth it. You know, I love some games. I even look at games like Terra. The end game was really cool. Blade and Soul's end game is also really cool. There's a lot of World of Warcraft. You know, all these games, it's cool, and I love the MMO genre. I do videos on it constantly, but almost in any case, I have not found that experience worth it. I bought a boost for World of Warcraft. I was given max level accounts for Terra and Blade and Soul, and for many other games, you know, I was making videos and I was making money. I had a promotion thing for Elder Scrolls. You know, there's been other reasons that pushed me. As somebody who makes money from these games, who has a community based around MMOs, who loves all MMOs as a whole, I have to admit, the early game for MMOs is not worth it for the vast majority of people, even if you do generally like MMOs. It is fucking boring, it is bad, it's shit, and they need to change it. That's all I gotta say, guys. It's not just MMOs, it's a lot of MMO lights, online action RPG, a lot of fucking mobile games too. Don't even get me started on card games, but it's all like mental gymnastics that we have to overcome in order to truly enjoy the game, and it's so that the company, make more money. Just flat out. They perverse their game so that they make more money, and we should take a stand for it. You know, we should stand for it, man. But that's all I gotta say. Regardless, guys, man, I'm gonna keep doing top 10s. I'm gonna still talk about new upcoming games. I'm gonna keep the hype alive. Hopefully, you guys do too. Hope you're having fun. My name is Skylint, and I'll see you in the next one.